better, to get a situation with, to, get a little camaraderie with someone. Maybe it's an artist you want to sign. Maybe it's another executive you want to do business with. You would party. Might be easier to talk about a deal after you done freaked off 2 girls and a nigga. I don't know. Sometimes instead of, sometimes sweeten the deal means pouring the baby oil. Who knows? That's the point of what I'm saying, is that I'm not going to sit here and not even say I believe that Jay-Z and Diddy were like real friends. But I think it's hard for me to believe. And hold on, I didn't define the other, because there's another level, right? So for me, you have real friends. I would say that's Jay-Z, Tata, right? You have rap friends. I would say that's Jay-Z, Diddy, rap friends. Which means they'll make sure they're popping out the club together, but both of them have their own separate crews. They're not coming over each other's houses for Thanksgiving, okay? It's not happening like that. So you have real friends, rap friends, and then at the bottom, you have associates. What's associates? You might have this person's number, but all you talk with them is business. Oh, hey, does so-and-so, is so-and-so free on this date? We're having this Bad Boy Festival. We'd love if they could come out. The conversation only strictly revolves around getting shit done for the business you're in. That's not a friend, it's an associate.
Just getting set up real quick.
Okay?
That's not what we...
Rap friends, they're going to do the fake shit. Let's pop some bottles. You my brother. Anytime I hear a rapper call another rapper, few words. Twin. Fake friends. Not fake real friends, but they're rap friends, right? Like, that's not your twin, okay? You're just dick sucking. It's not your fucking twin, right? Twin, brother. What's some other things? These are things that tell me they're saying, yo, we're like BFF rap friends, but they're probably not real friends. You get what I'm saying? But it's way more than associates. Because...
All right. I'll go back and listen to that later. Of course, that was DJ Academics talking about Diddy and Jay-Z's relationship. Or according to Alex Spiro, their lack thereof. But we all know better. Come on. What we're going to be talking about, bro, the rise and fall of G Unit. First of all, I want to say to everybody, welcome to my very first live stream. Yes. Hopefully it's going to be a very good one. I feel very confident about this. I think it's going to be a very good one. Like I said, the rise and fall of G Unit. We're going to get into that. Hey, you guys hit the like button as you coming in. That way YouTube picks up on this. This lets YouTube know that we're live. We can get some more viewers in here. So just go ahead and hit that like button on your way in, all right? As always, we just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Y'all get to see me mess up instead of doing all the good editing and stuff, y'all get to see me mess up and how lame and corny I really am. Let's go.
But once the roller coaster go down, and people still gonna kiss 50 ass because he's 50 Cent. But once our G Unit roller coaster went down, everybody was different.
I'd like to forget the G Unit.
No.
Yeah, well.
Now, let us go over why 50 Cent wants to forget about G Unit. And we will begin in order of events. The founding fathers of G Unit are 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Tony Yayo, who all grew up in South Jamaica. As you all know, 50 Cent was shot, and fearing financial losses, Columbia Records refused to work with 50 Cent, and he was left with nothing. Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo didn't abandon their friend who was in need, and they offered him to work on their own songs. Their hip-hop group was named G Unit. They recorded songs at producer Sha Money XL's house.
You fit into my stable of hoes. You from Atlanta, I'm from New York, but I'm throwing them bows. You should be here.
And 50 had signed a contract with Interscope Records and had begun working on the classic album Get Rich or Die Trying. On top of that, 50 Cent had gotten acquainted with...
Hey, you guys make sure Hey, stay with me all the way to the end. It's not going to be a very long one. I do got a story about how I feel like that album right there, Get Rich or Die Trying, actually saved my life. And it's some real stuff too. Trust me.
With Young Buck, who also soon became a member of G Unit. Tony, Lloyd, and Buck all took part in 50's album.
Find out how my P40 Glock kick. 50, you need some help? Chill, yeah, yo, I got this.
Mama tears got me heated, heavily weeded, smoking that bomb cause I need it.
Get lifted, I'm tempted to take your block off. Your niggas can't run cause I'm behind you.
After the success of the album, 50 founded his own label company called G Unit Records, and he began recording the album Beg for Mercy. However, Tony Yayo quickly adopted out of the recording process of the release due to a case of illegal possession of firearm. Young Buck took his place as a replacement.
Every hood we go to, all the gangsters around know my whole crew. Nigga, what?
Wanna bring joy and be easy, smile. Baby, you know my style, you know how I get down.
During the production of Beg for Mercy, Los Angeles rapper The Game was discovered and placed into G Unit by Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine of...
He was discovered or passed to them by Diddy. I don't know. According to him, according to The Game himself, he was passed to Dr. Dre by Diddy. So, I don't know. Y'all read into that as much as y'all want to.
Interscope Records. The Game made his first appearance as a member of G Unit on Lloyd Banks and Young Buck's debut albums, The Hunger for More and Straight Outta Cashville.
A year passed, now God dead, hell gone, and I'm sick, bought a chopper with a long clip.
G-Net, coming straight out of Compton, lace up my G6s.
Hey, honestly, this version of Stomp is not nowhere near as popular as the one without The Game. I thought it was a big mistake for them to bring The Game into the G Unit group as a whole. Now, signing them as a solo artist, yeah, but bringing them into the group, yeah, I thought that was a huge mistake.
And I'm 8-town stomping.
And the issues within G Unit had begun when The Game was preparing his album, The Documentary. But before that, him and 50 Cent had released a single together called How We Do.
This is how we do. Nobody do it like we do it, so sure.
During the album's promo work and before its release, The Game went on many radio shows across the country and dissed major artists like Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek. At the beginning, these issues didn't alarm or worry 50 Cent, although he was disappointed with The Game's reckless behavior. 50 Cent helped The Game produce the album, helped him with his songwriting skills, helped him come up with the choruses, and he even gave him a few songs like Hate It or Love It and How We Do.
I looked at Fifth like, you gonna give this nigga this shit? This is how we do all that shit, hate it, love it. I'm looking at him like,
These are hits.
motherfucker, give me that shit.
The guys prepared their albums, The Documentary by The Game and St. Valentine's Day Massacre by 50 Cent. However, The Game demanded that his album be released prior to 50's. And because of that, the latter album had to be moved from February 14th to the 5th of March and was renamed to simply The Massacre.
See, I didn't know that. But honestly, keep it 100. Keep it 100. The Massacre is a lot better name for a pretty much a gangster rap album than the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Because, I mean, all right, think about it off the top of your head. Do you know what the St. Valentine's Day Massacre is right off the top of your head? A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. They wouldn't get that. So just to go ahead and rename that the Massacre, that was actually a win for 50. So I don't see why he would have been mad about that part.
That upset 50. Also, 50 Cent didn't like that The Game was hanging out with people whom 50 Cent had issues.
And honestly, to me, listen, The Game is a hell of a rapper, but he's always just been a little bit off or a little weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like him personally. I don't know what it is about him. I have nothing against The Game. I actually met him one time and he seemed pretty cool. But it's just something about his rap persona. Just I don't know. I just never really liked it.
Issues with. What's more is that The Game never even gave him any credit for anything he did.
Who were some of the key people, man, that put you where you are right now?
Man, Dr. Dre, man.
Right.
That's it.
Next up, the music video for Hate It or Love It was released.
To love it, the underdogs on top. And I'm gon' shine, homie, until my heart stop. Go ahead, envy me.
In the music video, you can see the Game and 50 Cent sitting in a lowrider. But 50 Cent is sitting in the backseat, far away from the Game, and he doesn't look happy in the video. I hate to break the news, but those guys had to shoot their parts for that music video separately. They couldn't bear to be in the same room together, says the song's co-producer Dre, one half of the Miami-based rap production duo Cool and Dre. Everything went downhill as people began noticing the tension between them, and 50 Cent decided to kick the Game out of G-Unit.
People's names for shock value. He says things he doesn't mean. He says a lot of things and take it back. He says, he had issues with Joe Buttons. Then he runs into him in a club and they're taking pictures. He had issues with Memphis Bleak. Then he ran into Memphis Bleak in Miami. It was no problem. He has a lot of inconsistencies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, the one thing about 50 does like start a lot of beef for clout, but he follows all the way through with it. If he starts a beef with you for clout, y'all are not friends for real. Either like he sees you, it's gonna be on site. That's the thing with 50. And the Game is the complete opposite. He starts beef with you for clout, and then you run into him. It's like, hey, what up, bro? You know, as long as ain't no cameras on. I heard that a lot about the Game. A lot of people have said that about Game.
It's incredible that he would come back and forget how much I've done for him.
And one of the Game's
hey, but remember he just did that to Dr. Dre not too long ago too. He said Kanye West did more for him in 2 weeks than Dr. Dre has done for his whole career. Which, okay, whatever, dude.
Concerts, he decided to take a shot at G-Unit and even throw away a chain with the label's logo on it.
50 Cent, man, fuck 50 Cent. G-Unit.
A week later, 50 Cent gave an interview on Hot 97. The Game found out about it and decided to pay his former friend a visit. 50 found out that the Game is somewhere close by, so he dropped everything and went to meet him. Here, a fight broke out, in which one of the people in the Game's circle got shot in the leg. Sometime later, they decided to reconcile on the anniversary of Biggie's death. However, as you can imagine, things didn't end there. Then the Game released a mixtape, in which we can see the Game holding up 50's head in his hands, while wearing a hoodie that says G-U not on it.
When it's beef, we eat, we win, baloney, we pop. We sell records, but a G not.
50 Cent responded with the song, I'm Not Rich and Still Lying. In this rather amusing diss track, the rapper says that the Game is a liar and that nobody believes him, and that he was never in a coma and was never even in a gang. 50 obtained this information from the Game's brother.
Be calling me crazy, I might be just maybe. I'm gangster, I'm crippin', I move too, I'm trippin'.
In 2008, Young Buck's role in the band significantly lessened. The rapper appeared in G-Unit mixtapes less and less, and when G-Unit showcased their songs to MTV, he wasn't featured in the process.
Now, honestly, I think this right here was one of 50's biggest slip-ups. Just for the simple reason, around this time, I lived in Tennessee. I lived in Clarksville, Tennessee at the time. I was in the Army. And it's about an hour north of Nashville. Young Buck was huge in Tennessee. I'm talking about everywhere you went. Like it wasn't even talking about G-Unit. They were talking about Young Buck. There was posters of just Young Buck. He was huge. This was before his album came out. He was huge in Tennessee. And you guys all know that area of the South, Tennessee, Atlanta, Alabama, parts of Florida, they all back, like once they get like a major artist like that or somebody who's getting a lot of motion, starting to get a lot of motion, they back that one person. They all back that one person. And at that time, Buck was that person.
Buck gave an interview in which he spoke out about his situation with G-Unit. He said that at times he feels the need to get things off his chest, but that he's never disloyal to 50. Buck insisted that the crew has an understanding. He claimed he initially tried to address his concerns with 50 directly, but when he couldn't get a hold of the G-Unit leader, he began speaking out, knowing that Fifth would eventually contact him. It's an understanding that we have as a crew, he told the magazine, not just with 50, but as a family. Everybody has had their situations, but everybody handles that shit a little different because we all individual men. For me, it's just about getting shit off my chest and airing the shit out. But as far as being disloyal to my people, it's far from that. I pretty much knew that after me being verbal with the press and letting them know I felt like communication is slacking between me and my guy, that somehow 50 was going to reach out. Buck added. And he reached out to my manager. He was like, yo, I got 50 on the phone. Y'all need to talk. 50 Cent gave an interview.
See, but here's the thing, though. I mean, I kind of feel 50 on this. Like, you know, you're feeling like the communication's lacking. So you go on the radio and you say some off the wall stuff to get me to reach out, bro. That's not how this works. That's not how we do this. You know what I'm saying? We're on the same label. You're on my label. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of responsibilities. I got my own music career, and that's another thing. That's why artists shouldn't sign to other artists, because you're never going to be bigger than that artist that owns the label. If you look over on OVO, who on that label is bigger than Drake? Nobody that's signed to that label will ever be bigger than Drake as long as they're on that label. That's exactly why The Weeknd chose not to sign to that label. You feel me? Drake just got lucky that Wayne decided to kind of take like a mentor approach, because Wayne could have did the same thing and just kind of like stifled Drake. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that 50 stifled Buck. Honestly, in my opinion, behind 50, Young Buck was the second best artist in the group G Unit. He would have been the most marketable because he would have been right at the beginning. Actually, I ain't even gonna say the beginning. He would have been right in the middle of the Atlanta Rising. You know what I'm saying? With Atlanta Rising in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's from Tennessee, he still got that connection down there. All these cats that came out after G Unit, because you know Buck was supposed to be heading up G Unit South. If they would have kept it together somehow, some way, a lot of those artists coming out of Atlanta would have been signed to G Unit. It would have made 50 a ton of money. You know what I'm saying? Buck was that huge in the South at that time. Trust me, like I said, I lived in Tennessee at the time. I know how huge he was. I was in the military. I was early 20s in the military. It's kind of like being in college, but you got guns.
And said that Young Buck is no longer a member of G Unit, and added the following. You can look at that and see that's game all the way, he said, comparing Buck's actions.
This was really inconsistent with his character, like the things that he's saying. You can't value a person in general. That gives you a lot of inconsistencies. Game is similar.
Later on, 50 Cent leaked a conversation with Young Buck where he was crying and wishing things would return as they were before.
Yeah, that was some real petty stuff, bro.
You gave me the idea, you gave me the hope, and that's what I explained throughout my interviews, like, you know.
As Young Buck himself says, he never received a royalty check in his entire career, clarifying that his money was earned solely from shows. And after that, Buck released a diss track against him.
Record my phone call when I spoke from the heart. That was a year ago. This was a joke from the start.
And in 2008...
Yeah, but all right. So Young Buck's manager and the former head of G Unit Records came out and said that, no, that's not true. Buck actually was getting royalty money from the records he did.
G Unit released the second and final album under the name Terminate on Sight.
Told you, boy, I'm a soldier, boy. I got no choice but to be a rider. Got a south side, crazy motherfucker named Banko. Yeah, crack that, $1 million bankroll.
It seemed fine to have a confrontation with the game or with poor Young Buck. But to start a confrontation with his own crew was too strange.
See, my thing right there, I think it was because these are the core members of G Unit right here. And then you got Young Buck. Young Buck's actually down in Tennessee. It's kind of like that out of sight, out of mind type of deal. Maybe if 50 would have pulled him aside and say, hey, you having some tax issues because you're not spending your money right, or you're not managing your money right, I'm gonna hook you up with my money manager. He's gonna work with you, go get your taxes taken care of, make sure you stay up to date on your taxes. This is what I need you to do, bro. I need you to handle business. If you're gonna continue to be down there in like Nashville, I'm gonna need you to handle business while you down there. you're gonna be recruiting and signing some of these new artists coming up out of Atlanta and elsewhere down there in the South, Memphis and wherever else. You know what I'm saying? This is where you about to make a lot of money at, because you big down there right now. You hot down there right now. You know what I'm saying? 50 should have pulled him aside and said that, but you know, they was young at the time. Egos was getting in the way. For real. Let's keep it 100. Egos is getting in the way at this point in time. And we all know 50 the king of petty.
But first things first. In 2010, 50 Cent exploded with rage when Lloyd Banks didn't want to feature Eminem in his album. This is what he wrote on Twitter. Now, this why I'm not fucking with these guys no more. I get Eminem to be on Banks' album, and this asshole gonna say he don't want him on it. I should shoot this man. They fucking with my money. I knew I shouldn't have fucked with these shitheads. Gonna say you don't want the biggest? I made these people rich. I'm finished fucking with them. I should shoot this guy. This is crazy. I'm getting this man shot. Fuck it. Later on, February 20th, 2014, Tony Yayo said that G-Unit had officially broken up, saying he and 50 Cent were no longer friends, and also announced his retirement from music, saying it had caused him too much stress and they had already accomplished everything he wished to do. After that, the unpleasant remarks from 50 continued toward these two. I actually haven't spoke to him very much. I'm not to fault for that though. I think I disabled them, he said. I did so much for them that they don't have a continuous work ethic. They got both of those tapes out there. But did you see any visuals? Anything? There's certain things that the new guy is doing to create momentum or energy. They just sit there and wait. When someone works for you, you have the habit of dealing with things by not dealing with them. You may get in the regimen of coming over and doing it for them. He later said that Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo are like milk that has an expiration date.
He also said in his book that they pretty much don't have their work ethic. See, this is what I'm talking about the editing. I can't edit that stuff out. Y'all come for me down in the comment sections if y'all want to. I can take it. I got thick skin. I'm gonna go back and forth with y'all. Fuck y'all. Now, I love y'all for real. But hey, no, this is in his book. He was saying they don't have a good work ethic. Lloyd Banks, he has lazy tattooed on his arm. You know what I'm saying? He calls himself Lazy Lloyd or Lazy Lloyd. Try saying that like 5 times fast. Lazy Lloyd, right? That's what he calls himself. And then Yayo is basically a hustler. He'll get paid like $250 for a show or whatever, and then automatically think, hey, let's go flip this. You know what I'm saying? And 50 be like, no. This is legal money. We got to keep it legal. We're not going to go flip it. You know what I'm saying? That's what, and then Buck, I thought Buck might have had the work ethic that 50 was looking for, but who knows? You know, Buck might have been like a real pain in the ass behind the scenes to 50. You know what I'm saying? Because you heard what Juvie said about Buck. Y'all go ahead and watch. I gotta refill my drink real quick.
Tony Yayo commented about this in the following way. As much bullets I took for G-Unit, my mom's crib shot up, almost killed my sis and my niece. Now I'm compared to milk. I made that brand. In an interview with Rap Fix Live, 50 Cent said that Banks started feeling uninspired musically after his father died in 2006. But 50 revealed that he found it hard to relate to his longtime homie's grief. His father passed away, and I was like, all right, he passed away, but you can't just go home and stay home, 50 recalled, telling Banks. Ask Kanye. His mother passed away while his record was at a peak point. If he didn't go on tour, he wouldn't be the Kanye you know right now. It was only in the spring of 2014 that 50 Cent compared them to expired milk. However, in as soon as June of 2014, the group was already reunited at Summer Jam, and they performed G-Unit's greatest hits. After the group's performance, they announced that they were working on a new EP, which was named The Beauty of Independence. And here, yet again, a conflict broke out between 50 Cent and his friends. This time, it was Shaman.
I'm going to eventually get a mini fridge in here and just keep the liquor and stuff down here.
Tony Yayo, who was president of G Unit Records until 2007. The beef was purely due to financial disagreements.
When I actually received the check from the deal with Interscope and Aftermath and Shady, they go $1 million something. He see everybody reaching at my pockets, and he's doing it too. I get a call from Chris. Chris tell me, yo, what we gonna do about Shy? And he's like, no, he's asking about how to charge for studio time. And I'm like, well, what's the studio bill? It's light bill? So when I paid the $50,000, check this out, he asked for $50,000. I said, yo, don't take $50,000, take $30,000 in a point. Mind you, the point was worth $1.3 million.
Damn.
I sold 13 million records on that album. So it's like, take 30,000, take 1.3, 30.
Right.
Man, come on, bro. That's got to be like the biggest fuck up in history right there. 30,000, 1.3 million. Come on. Come on. I mean, honestly, okay, the dude was probably thinking, yeah, I'm going for the short thing. But once you heard that album, you had to kind of like, especially like if you were a real hip hop fan, you heard that album like, oh, okay, yeah, this is about to do some things. All right.
Instead of 50,000.
Got it though.
He said 50,000. Give him the 50,000. I give you the 50,000 cash as singles right now because he didn't understand what he was doing.
Yeah.
At that point, then the lawyer goes, "No, listen. Can I say something to him? You know, like, can I just say something to him because I don't think he understands exactly what he's actually doing." I go, now when I get it, I go, like, you're not my partner. Like, you've been paid for all of your services.
Shy Money XL commented about this on Twitter, saying, "Who wants to be partners with him? They fall out eventually, so let's talk facts, not lies. Fuck you, pay me. We're all your partners. Walmart-ass guy, you get what you pay for. A cheap person will do cheap things."
See, and this is the same dude that was actually Young Buck's manager after this too. And you can see right now he's not making smart decisions when it comes to himself. He should have took the points over the 50 grand or whatever. But no, instead, he took the 50 grand when that point was worth 1.3 mil.
In 2015, they released The Beast is G Unit.
Lessons on DVD, pay-per-view shit, make a move since 203, can't see me free. What to do to get them low? Where my bottle? Can you please bring my bottles to my floor?
Now we return to the saga between 50 Cent and Lloyd Banks. 50 didn't like that Lloyd was photographed with the game. What do you see when you look at this picture? I see confusion. I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm a Cancer. Shit don't get old with me. I never asked for trouble, but I really don't have a problem with it. I'm different. The question is how I feel about it.
It kind of looked like the game just like walked up on Banks as he was coming home from the gym or some shit. Really, that's what it looked like to me.
But how does Lodi Mac feel about it?
Oh.
Some shit is just better off left alone. February 1st, 2018, in his single Crazy, featuring PNB Rock, 50 Cent said he and Lloyd Banks were no longer on speaking terms.
Banks, me and him don't even talk no more. You know, cause of me, he ain't never had to sell crack.
And in June, Banks and 50 Cent announced his departure from both the group and the label.
He couldn't even tell you, like, at any point when you speak to him what the problem is. I put him like where I put Marquise. They just have something internally that's going on with them that gives them some sort of resentment towards me, and I just don't even care about it.
In 2019, the conflict between Young Buck and 50 Cent resumed. Their most recent feud can be traced back to the beginning, when Buck called out 50 for trying to sabotage his career after the former's music was removed from streaming services and a cease and desist note was sent to his distribution label from G Unit Records. Ever the king of pettiness, 50 responded by taking to Instagram and sharing an alleged audio recording of Buck discussing his transgender sex scandal. A month later, 50 was still mocking the situation.
That's so petty, bro.
He posted this on Instagram. "Young Buck is almost ready to drop his album. He worked hard on this project. I told him his personal choice to date a transsexual will confuse some of his core audience, but with the support of the LGBT+, he should be fine." Young Buck was tired of this, and he went on air.
See, this is my thing with 50. I love 50, but bro, sometimes his pettiness gets in the way of business. He didn't understand who Buck's core audience was. Buck's core audience was those same rappers that are blowing up big in Atlanta right now. That was Buck's core audience. He could have, like I said, maybe Buck was just like a pain in the ass behind the scenes or whatever. But 50 could have pulled him close. Like, listen, you down there, we up here, whatever. Come up here, move to the mansion, because he had that big ass house that Mike Tyson used to own up there in like New York, whatever. Hey, move up here if you want to feel closer to the group. But if you want to stay down there, bro, you got to handle G Unit South. Handle this business. Let's grow that empire down there too. You know what I'm saying? But instead, he being petty to the man, 50 could have been so much bigger than what he is now. He could have been a couple levels beneath Jay and Diddy. Like, I'm not saying on the scandal stuff, but I'm talking about as far as business wise. I mean, yeah, he got his shows right now, but G Unit Records is defunct. Come on.
You play for the gram. You can do all this social media trolling shit you do. I'm talking about the real life shit.
In case you can't tell, Buck is like one of my favorite artists from G Unit. Don't get me wrong. That's no shade on Lloyd Banks or Tony Yayo, but he's one of my favorites just because when he came out with G Unit and even 50, when they came out, that was a very special time in my life where I was like early 20s, like 2003, 2004. And I'm going to go through and explain to you guys. I was doing some things back then. I'm going to go and explain. It got me through some things.
Shit. Fuck all that old extra ass.
I got through with those things.
I'm talking about the real life. You want to talk about a nigga owe you some, show us a receipt, nigga.
Young Buck filed for bankruptcy because 50 Cent sued Buck for $250K for owing the label 2 albums. The Nashville rapper reportedly had no money or property to his name in June and was relying on his girlfriend to support him. Generally speaking, all of these conflicts and beefs within the label drove 50 to want to forget about G Unit.
I'd like to forget the G Unit.
No.
Yeah, well.
In the book Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, 50 Cent yet again spoke out about Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks. I've always felt that if I had maybe done a better job teaching Banks and Yayo how to evolve and change their habits, they each would be in better places right now. While I was out hustling, Banks was...
I'm telling you, he should have did that with Buck. That was his cash cow right there.
...was more content staying on his porch, watching the world from there. Banks wanted things to come to him as opposed to going out...
Matter of fact, I was just listening to Beg for Mercy earlier. Footprints, one of the hardest songs on that album. Tell me I'm wrong.
...and getting them for himself. That's not me trying to assassinate his character. The guy has Lazy Lloyd tattooed on his arm. He literally wears his laziness on his sleeve. G Unit hasn't been active for a long time, and 50 takes on something of a regretful tone when looking back at how it fell apart. My intention was for G Unit to be the first branches in a family tree, he wrote. I birthed my sons, but they didn't bear me any children. It all stopped with them. In an interview, Tony Yayo...
See, and that's a problem right there. That's what I said. Ego. Sometimes ego plays a lot into this. Like, he's talking about, these are my sons, and then they didn't birth me no sons. Bro, you guys wanted to be part of a rap group. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying give them part of your company, but as far as when it comes to artists and being a part of a rap group, you guys are supposed to be equals. You know what I'm saying? Those ain't supposed to be your sons. If they were your sons, you were supposed to teach them how to do right in the industry. But honestly, 50 was so young in the industry at the time, he didn't even know how to do right. Because you got to remember, he's filed bankruptcy at least once too. He didn't even know how to do right at the time. So he couldn't really teach them because he was just coming up in the industry himself.
Yayo reacted to this in a calm manner.
I mean, I see the way 50 work, and I'm like, yo, when he always be like, yo, y'all are lazy. And I'm just realizing, like, I thought I was working when I wasn't. So during the COVID, it was just like a tough time. Like, I'm sitting back, wasn't no tours. I'm like, y'all gotta figure out other things to do, bro.
But in the album titled The Course of the Inevitable, Lloyd Banks released a song which could be dedicated to 50 Cent. That's because in the song, he says that 50 is already not the person he used to be, and now he's acting like a stranger. And of course, he commented about his words about laziness.
Call me quiet, call me lazy, talent never faded. It's frustrating when you're grinding ain't appreciated.
At the moment, G-Unit consists only of Tony Yayo and 50 Cent. And in the previous year, 50 Cent has said that the group will no longer return. And here's why.
I'm done with carrying them
That's
around.
such a
My
shame,
back
bro.
hurt.
I see Yayo with you on tour, though.
Yeah, it's a different animal. And we just keep going.
That's such a shame because think about it. When you talk, like when people are talking about the greatest hip hop groups right now, like here in modern times, they're only talking about Bone Thugs and Migos. If G Unit would have dropped a couple more albums, it would have probably been Bone Thugs and G Unit or G Unit and Migos. I'm from Ohio. I'm not taking Bone Thugs out of it. It would have been Bone Thugs and G Unit. Come on now, because Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo, no slouches. 50, come on, you ain't got to speak about 50. And then Buck giving them that Southern sound too, with all that energy, bro. Come on, if they could have held it together, G Unit as a group and a record label would have been a powerhouse.
On to the next time he does something wrong. That's the relationship.
Right.
That's my nigga. We stand in the Waldorf Astoria. We living the best life. We flew around the world.
Judging by Lloyd's interview with GQ, the relationship between him and 50 improved in the last year. It's the same. We're brothers. We came into this together. We're never all going to be doing the same thing at the same time at this point in our careers. You know what I mean? The last conversation I had with 50 was basically him telling me to get whatever I left out there.
If you think about it, style-wise and lyrical-wise, G Unit was a super group. And three of them weren't really even fully established yet. And they were a super group. Oh my God, if they would have held it together, I think the state of hip hop when it comes to hip hop groups would have been totally different right now.
Because some hiatuses were planned and some weren't. But I can't sit and cry about spilled milk. I got to go out there and make it happen. We did something special that will never be done again. Honestly, there are more positive moments than anything else. That's where I'm at with 50 Cent and Tony Yayo. We're brothers, and it's always going to be that way. And by the way, when the album Get Rich or Die Tryin' celebrated 20 years since its release, Sha Money XL said that regardless of the conflict between them, he likes 50 Cent and considers him a genius. The next video I recommend you watch is about...
All right, so that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's an oldie, but it's still good. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little story about how 50 Cent and not his album Get Rich or Die Tryin', but more particularly the song Many Men saved my life in the year 2003 and 2004. All right. It's kind of corny. Y'all stick with me though. Stick with me. All right. So 2003, I was in my early 20s, right? And, I graduated from high school. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my life. I come from a small city in Northeast Ohio where General Motors was the highest paying employer. And I just happened to be raised by my grandmother who retired from there. So I was expecting to go work for General Motors, but coming from the family that I come from, no, I had to work and prove myself first. But so anyways, I'm going around, I'm partying, hanging out, I'm working, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do with myself. Now, as a kid growing up, I always wanted to follow in my father and both my grandfather's footsteps, which was going to the military. But as a late teen, early 20s, I'm partying. I'm getting older. I'm starting to get a little handsome, starting to get some chicks or whatever. I don't want to leave just yet. You know what I mean? Well, some things happened, pretty much like 9/11. And like I said, y'all can say I'm corny all you want for this. 9/11 kicked off, right? And for some reason, it just captivated me. It took me. And my best friend at the time, he's still a really good friend of mine. In case you guys don't know, all my friends, we've been like, still to this day, I'm 45. All my friends, we've been friends since we were like 11, 12 years old. Okay. We all come from the same neighborhood, grew up together since we were like 11, 12 years old. Some even earlier. I just came into it when I was about 11. But that's how close we are. But he came to me, and me and him, we hung out every day as teenagers and everything. So he already knew I'm the military type. I trained in military stuff as a teenager, plus other things, sports and all kinds of stuff. I was physically fit. Let's put it that way. So he came to me. He had a kid at the time. I didn't. He said, "Hey, I'm thinking about joining the military because we have no other options. Jobs are starting to leave. General Motors is paying less and less now. I have no other option, I don't think." So I said, "You know what? I hear you. I'm with you. That's something I've been wanting to do. We can go ahead and join up together if that'll make you feel better about going." So we went ahead and signed up. And the day we were at our MEPS processing, which is where you pick your job, you do your physical and all that bull stuff, the Iraq war had kicked off. Like that day, I was at the MEP station. I'm watching the news, and they're bombing Baghdad. You know what I mean? Now, the war in Afghanistan had already kicked off. But, you got a lot of people that are there at this MEP station. They're getting nervous about it because, for whatever reason, they're getting nervous about it. But I kind of felt like this was my calling. You know what I mean? I was highly motivated at the time. Like I said, early 20s, never left my small city in Northeast Ohio except for to go to PA a couple times and a couple other places, right? And I live really close to Pennsylvania, so that wasn't very far. And so I ended up going to, basic training, Army basic training in South Carolina, Fort Jackson, which I should have went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, but it was overcrowded at the time. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I turned around and went to advanced individual training, aka AIT, in Fort Bliss, which is El Paso, Texas. Had a great time there, and then got to my permanent duty station in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is Fort Campbell, home of the 101st Screaming Eagles. Hey, 244 Air Defense Artillery. I was a gunner on an air defense artillery piece called an Avenger, I guess, but no air threats in Iraq, so they used us with the ground forces, right? That was 2003. 2003, November of 2003, I left for Iraq. Almost got killed my very first night there. But here's the thing. My unit had already been there. I was coming in late trying to catch up to them. When I got matter of fact, when I was going into basic training, that's when Wankster came out. So that's when, being from Ohio, that's when I was really starting to get my first hint of 50 Cent. Now, here in Ohio, you would think we're closer to New York. We get a lot of New York music. That's not the case. Here in Ohio, especially back then, the main thing we listened to was West Coast music. I know, right? Backwards, right? And as it eventually went on, it started to be more down south. Even now, it's still more down south music. Like a lot of the East Coast stuff, we don't get unless it's like major channels, like whatever Breakfast Club comes on, and that's it pretty much. So when Wankster came out, I was just really starting to get a hint of who 50 Cent was. And that was right before I went to basic training. When I got done with basic training in AIT, you get a lot more freedom. You get weekends off. You can go get a hotel room and go kick it with your friends, drunk, strip clubs, whatever. Had a whole lot of fun in AIT, right? But we got 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, right? And pretty much right after AIT, I think I had like a month off where I came home, spent time with my family, went to Fort Campbell in Tennessee. It's actually right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. but we all pretty much call it Tennessee. And I went to Iraq. I took that CD with me. Many Men became our unofficial theme song just because, you're 20 years old or early 20s, and how are you supposed to mentally deal with the fact that you're about to leave base and everybody that you're looking at potentially wants to take you out? How can you mentally deal with that without losing your mind? The song Many Men helped us prepare for that as we went out on different missions. After we all sat there, of course I listened to the album plenty of times on my way over to Iraq because I had nothing else to do. I was stuck on an airplane. So preparing us mentally for going out on these missions and to protect ourselves and just give us a little bit of sanity about what we're potentially about to go through. You know what I'm saying? And then we would listen to it after we came back from different missions and stuff too. Because we did see some things out there that we weren't prepared to see. It was a little jarring, and that song helped us get back to base. Now, when we got back, Young Buck was blowing up, and we was hitting them clubs, and you get Bang Bang. You get the Beg for Mercy album with the footsteps on it. And like I said, Young Buck was huge in Tennessee at the time. And I mean huge. You go to clubs, they're playing the Beg for Mercy CD, but they're only playing footsteps. You hear what I'm saying? That's how big Young Buck was in Tennessee at the time. That's how big he was. But you guys call me corny for, thinking, yay, 50 Cent indirectly saved my life. And if I ever see 50 Cent in person, I will tell him that. On God. I will tell him that if I ever meet him in person. I doubt I will, but if I ever do. Anyways, you guys, that was my very first live. We got 4 current viewers in right now. We had 53 total. Nobody chatted. I don't think we got any likes or whatever. This is my first time dealing with this. But anyways, you guys, I am very excited for this opportunity. I'm probably going to start doing this every Saturday night. It is 7:46. I'm from Ohio. Guess what's about to happen? We got Ohio State playing in the playoffs right now, the college football playoffs. Let's go Buckeyes. We going for the natty. Say no, Oregon people, shut up. Michigan people, y'all ain't even playing. Bye. That's my video for today, you guys. That's my live stream for today. If you guys like this and you catch it in the replay, let me know how I did. Even if you don't like it, let me know how I did. Okay. Like I said, this is something I'm experimenting with at the moment. I might start doing this every Saturday on top of dropping my normal videos. So if you guys are down with this, let me know in the comments, whatever the case is. If it's a no-go, put a no-go down in the comment section, y'all. I probably won't listen. I'm probably still going to do the lives anyways, but whatever. At least you get your opinion out there. It's your boy, King Charm. I'm out of here. Peace.